I'm with Chris Megal from Initiative. You work with a lot of major brands. If I can mention a few, there's Hyundai,
Sure.
Kia, Dr. Pepper Snapple, Miller Coors, Lionsgate, Victoria's Secret, Hasbro. The list really went on and on when I was looking at it. How has video buying changed for the big brands?
I would basically say that a lot of these brands have been very TV-centric for most of the time that they've been in existence.
Yeah.
And I think probably over the last 5 years, you've seen a lot of the big brands, the major multinational companies, realize the power that they can generate by combining traditional mass-scale media like television with a medium like digital. The way I like to put it is, television creates this mass awareness and curiosity, and it creates a prompt. And then now you've got digital sitting there like they've got a catcher's mitt, catching all that demand. People can search for your brand. They can go to your website. You can treat them to a video. And as we move forward now, multi-screen strategies are going to be important. But video specifically, we've essentially been pushing really hard to get our clients to think about a holistic video approach, which means more than online video. It means place-based video and cinema. Television does, it's a gigantic medium, and it works really well for clients. But there's a lot of waste there. There's a lot of heavy TV viewers that really don't ever leave their apartment or their home or their couch.
Right.
You've got a lot of light TV viewers that don't generate a lot of the television viewing, that are up and about. They have jobs. They're everywhere. And you can use these other media, these on-demand media, online media, and place-based media to try to balance that out a little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to go off topic just for a second, because as you're talking about the big brands, I just have a question about what is the role right now of the big brands? Is it to react to what consumers are wanting, or is it the role of big brands to sort of teach consumers how to use the new technologies and what's available?
Brands need to be clear if they're going to get into a space like that. They have to create an experience that the consumer is going to feel like they've gotten something out of that. There has to be a benefit to them. I do think that our media partners are in a much better position to help train the consumer or train the audience to utilize these technologies, because the relationship that the consumer has with big media brands, whether they be television networks or their favorite video website, Funny or Die, I think it's critical that those guys are pushing things forward, because the brands can then participate in that, and they can draft off the equity that those big media entities have. And I just think from a content perspective, there's going to be more draw from the media partners than there is from the brands. Now, that said, that doesn't mean that a brand, especially one like Miller Coors, cannot create some really fun, engaging experiences using those technologies, but I think it helps when they're wrapped around a very large, scalable media partner.
I guess I'm just curious about the push and pull. Do you wait and see where the consumers go, or do you teach them to start Shazamming? Do you teach them to go to your YouTube channel, that kind of a thing?
I think you got to start experimenting. You got to see what people are picking up, what the reactions are. You got to start reading into your social conversation and see if people are actually appreciating it or not. That's pretty critical. So there's a lot of real-time opportunity to see how your relationship is going with the consumer.
Okay, let's just talk about scope and scale right now. How important is it for a brand to be everywhere? I mean, there's so many devices and platforms, new tools, new everything every day.
So one thing I think is really, really important is when you think about, I don't think this is right for all brands, but because there are some messages that just don't translate everywhere. But if you have a consumer who is a multitasking consumer and who is going to have a tablet in their home, is going to be using their mobile device while they're watching television, for example, who is going to be using the on-demand platforms that are available to them out there, and who may be a heavy online video user, you have to really concentrate today. It's more important than ever to have that experience lead out of the sort of mass media communication. It can't be something totally different that you're just this is our digital strategy and this is our TV strategy. They have to speak to each other, and one has to be an enhancement or an extension of the other. So if you can make that work and create a rewarding consumer experience, that's gonna build that equity and that relationship with the consumer, then I think you should be creating a multi-screen strategy. You should figure out how you can use NFC, or how you can use iPad apps or mobile apps or social television opportunities to extend that conversation and to lead right out of that television commercial into a more fun experience, because they're just going to appreciate you more for that.
Cool.
But I don't think it's right for everybody.
I was going to ask, who is it not right for?
Well, let's just say you're a pharmaceutical company, all right,
Okay,
and you've
sure.
got a very sensitive topic that you need to address with your media and communications. I think you have to be really careful about how playful you get with that, or there are restrictions when it comes to what you can say in certain media. So you have to be a lot more. I mean, there certainly is an opportunity. But that's about information mostly and education, and that's a completely different strategy than Miller Coors creating a really fun, football-driven, mobile, social, local experience that ties out of their, funny TV ad.
Okay, very good point. I know financial institutions and insurance institutions can put the geckos and they can put the Vikings out there,
Yeah.
but you're right, they need to be a lot more conservative.
Yeah,
in their social.
absolutely.
Yeah. What are the top challenges that you're facing, and what has this taught you?
So the biggest challenge that we're facing is probably integration, and what that means, it really is that a lot of the digital media that is available to us today have been managed in their own silo at a lot of places. It's not that they're not doing a great job. Digital practitioners, especially at Initiative, are some of the best in the business. But I think that we need to start thinking more about having our digital teams and our traditional media teams working from the same playbook, because I feel like the advancement in digital and the opportunity that's in digital to be more measurable and more targeted and have more data to work with has created sort of a different set of rules to play by. And that needs to be brought back to, some of that needs to be brought back to traditional, and some of the traditional goals need to be brought to digital, and together they can work a lot harder together.
From a leadership side, is that happening? I mean, does the CMO just need to get all the senior leaders at the same table?
Yeah, every agency is thinking about it differently. It really depends on what kind of clients you have. It depends on what kind of structure you already have inside of your company, where your talent lies, who can drive the integration best. Does it come from process? So I think the first step most agencies have made is I know at Initiative we've put a lot of effort in the last couple of years into putting process together that demands collaboration. And if it doesn't happen, it's clear who's not collaborating, and then the thing breaks down. So it creates more accountability. So you don't necessarily have to have everybody, in one department. At the same time, I think there's more discussion that needs to go on about how can we take that a step further, and how can we make sure that we're working hand in hand from the same part of objectives. I'll give you an example. I'm working with my digital team right now. The digital leaders at Initiative and I are encouraging together a very holistic approach to video for all of our business leads, all of our strategic leads. We're giving them with one voice what the benefits are to audience buying, what the benefits are to using the different tools in online video that are available to you, what the reasons why you should consider an adjunct video strategy to a television strategy. And the beauty of that is that we have experts in digital that are, speaking from a point of enormous experience, and then you have someone like me who has a very strong point of view that we need to be using all the tools at our department or at our disposal anyway. So I think that's pretty powerful, and it's probably a good first step.
That's a great ending note. I know that we're looking at the new tools, we're looking at the technology so much, but it really does come back down to being a leadership and a business issue to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
And you got to bring your clients along down that road too.
Boy, that's
not an automatic.
No, let's talk about that next time and figure out our top 5 list on what the recommendations are. I think it's very important. Chris, thank you so much.
That was my pleasure.